Alright, in this video I'm going to talk through how I would do the 0A3 warm-up. That has mostly to do with box plots, but it looks like we have some of our mean, median, mode in here as well. This is a great tool to use to study for the quiz or test because these are higher level thinking questions. So it's really good to be able to do these for a quiz or test. So let's start with number 1. It says write a list of some numbers, I'm going to underline the important things here, whose median is 14, mode is 10, and mean is 13. Wow, we have a lot of requirements here. So let's start with what I would start with and just set it 7 numbers. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blanks. I have 7 blanks. I know that I need 7 numbers. All right. The next thing I'm looking at is that there's a median of 14. Well, if the median is 14, I know the middle number has to be 14. So I'm going to highlight the median being 14 in yellow, and I'm going to do, look here, in the middle number, because there's an odd number, the median will actually be the middle number. Okay, so I know I'm going to put a 14 here. So that requirement's done. The mode is 10, which means below 14, I need to see 10 at least twice. And the mode is only 10, so I can't see any other numbers twice. Or I can maybe put 10 3 times. So we gotta wait and see how that'll work out. But I know 10 is gonna go down here at least twice. And then the mean is 13. So the mean being 13, let's talk about that. I'm gonna highlight that. And to the side, let's talk about what it means to have a mean of 13. Well, we know when the mean is 13, that means that we're going to add up all the numbers, so all of these numbers added up, divided by the total number of numbers we have, and there's 7 numbers. That has to equal 13. What that means is this number here has to be whatever some number divided by 7 is 13. We talked about in class how that means this must be a multiple of 7, and that multiple we're going to get by multiplying 13 times 7. So this number right here has to be whatever 13 times 7 is. Well, I'm going to just quickly do that here. I can do 13 times 7 either in my head. 10 times 7 is 70. 3 times 7 is 21. So 70 plus 21 is 91. Or grab my calculator. Get 91. Okay, so this magic number right here has to be 91. What that means is all 7 numbers have to add to be 91. Okay, so that's what that means. Well, we know we already have 14 once. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to minus 14. We have 77 left over to come up with the other 6 numbers. Well, let's throw in 2 10s. That makes my mode 10. So minus 10, minus 10. Now we have 57 left over. Because I put the 10 and the 10 here, that means the number down here should be lower than 10, so let's just say 9. Alright, we got 48 left. So looking here, 14, to be above that, I could do 15. I know I don't want to repeat 14 because I only have 10 twice, and that has to be the mode, so I can't repeat any of the other numbers. So minus 15. Alright, the next number, let's see if this will work. Minus 16. Oh, perfect. Look at that. So we'd have 17. So if we have 16 here, now we have 17. So let's double check that we have all the requirements. 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For sure. Median. 14's in the middle. Mode. Our mode was 10. I'm going to highlight that. We see that the mode is 10 right there. That requirement is checked. The mean is 13. Let's double check to make sure when we add all these up. We have 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17. Get 91. I divide that by 7 numbers. The mean is 13. So we are good to go. Now all of our answers don't necessarily have to look the same, but this is just how I chose to do this problem. Scooching down here. Write 2 different lists of data values that can be modeled by the box plot below. So we have this box plot. I'm looking here. I know that the median is going to be 80. So we need a list of numbers whose median is 80. Whose max is 100, whose minimum is 65, the lower quartile is 70, and the upper quartile is 90. Okay, so a lot of times I find that students just want to write these numbers down. Well, if we just had those 5 numbers. 65, 70, 80, 90, 100. Let's double check to make sure that we have all these requirements. The median is for sure 80. Now, if I find the lower quartile, the median of the lower half, I ignore this guy, I'm looking down here, and I find that the median would actually be 67.5. And here, the median would be 95. So we can't actually just grab those 5 numbers. So we got to think a little bit harder. We know we want the median to be 80, so one possibility is that we start with 80 in the middle. If we want the lower quartile to be 70, we need 70 to be in the middle of the lower half. The easiest way to do this is to have 70 the middle of, let's say, 3 or 4 numbers. So, 3 or 5 or 7, an odd number of numbers, because the median will always be in the list of numbers if we have an odd number. So we have the median for the overall box plot. But now let's say we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values on that side. So here we want 70 to be in the middle, so it's the lower quartile here. And we want 90 to be in the middle, so it's the upper quartile here. The max is 100, so we know that last guy is going to be 100, and the min is 65, so we got that guy down there. And now we just need to fill in these other blanks. Again, the reason why I chose to put 5 numbers on here is because I know we want 70 to be the median of the lower half. And it's easiest to have 70 the median when we have an odd number of values. All right? So let's just pick a number. We got to be between 65 and 70. We'll say 68. I could even make all of these 70. Doesn't matter because the median is 70. I could do 81, 87, just things in between 80 and 90. And then finally up here, let's just make that 96. But again, the key thing is that we wanted the median to be 80. We got that. We wanted the max to be 100. We got that. We wanted the min to be 65. We got that. And then we wanted the lower quartile to be 70. And 70 is the middle number of the lower half. If I cross these off and work to the middle, I get to 70. Upper quartile, again, cross these off, get to the middle, I get 90. So this would be one example. Now this is when I was choosing odd values to find the median, meaning I had a total odd number here to make 80 exactly in the middle, and I had a total of odd number on either side. Let's change this up a little bit. I'm going to do an even number. So I'm going to do just 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What that means is if I want 80 to be the median here, I'm going to end up crossing off these numbers and up here. Well, to make 80 the middle, I have a lot of options here. You could put 80 and 80. But I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do 2 numbers on either side of 80. So let's say we'll make this, we go from 80, we go down 2, we'll be at 78. And let's go up 2, we'll be at 82. Now, 80 is right in the middle of those. Notice 80 is not actually one of the values, but it is still the median. Because if you take 78 plus 82, divide by 2, you get, well, 70 plus 80 would be 150. 8 plus 2 is 10. So that would be 160, sorry for the phone ringing, divided by 2 equals 80. So we're good there. Okay? I know I want the max to be 100, so this guy's got to be 100. The min to be 65. This guy's got to be 65. If I have a max and min, those values have to be in the list. Okay? So the median doesn't have to be in the list, but the max and min have to. Now, the median was 80, so we look at this lower half now. And notice we have an odd number here, so if I want the lower quartile to be 70, I'll just put a 70 right here. And if I want the upper quartile to be 90, I'll put a 90 right there, because when I find the median, I'm good to go. So again, I still have my min and my max, 65 and 100. I have my median down here, which is 80. It's not a part of the values, but it is still the median. And then I have my lower quartile and upper quartile. So there's really a lot of possibilities for this problem, which makes it a very interesting problem in my opinion. Alright, so now if we flip to the back, one last problem. It says, write a list of numbers whose box plot only has one whisker. But what it means by one whisker is when we have this, you have this box. We know this guy is our median. This guy is our lower quartile. Right over here is our upper quartile. And let's say we have one whisker over here. So we have our minimum is down here. To not have a whisker on this other side means that that maximum can't be up here. It's not that it doesn't have a maximum. It will have a maximum, but that maximum also has to be the same as upper quartile. All right, so we want the maximum and the upper quartile to be the same. Or we could set it up so that we have our median, our lower quartile, our upper quartile, and we have a whisker over here. So you have your max up here, but the minimum, we don't want to have a whisker, so the minimum has to land right here. So we could have the lower quartile and minimum be the same. Either way, all right? So let's just choose 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All it wants to have is just one whisker. I have no other qualifier, so the values don't really matter. So we know that our median, this value, is going to be right here. We know our max. Let's say we're going to go with this scenario right here, just for the sake of argument. Right here, we'll go with that. We want the max and the upper quartile to be the same. But what we can do, we know our upper quartile, this value, is going to be, that's the median, it's going to be right there. We know our max, this value, is going to be right here. We need those two values to be the same. The rest of these don't really matter. So let's just choose 10 and 10. We could make this 10 as well, but we don't have to. This one doesn't really matter. We can make that 8, 7, 4, 2, 0. The rest of those don't matter. We just want one whisker, and this will achieve it, having the upper quartile and maximum the same. So let's say if we ever actually make this box plot. We know that the median is 7. We know that the upper quartile is 10. Because if we cross those off, that's in the middle. We know the max is 100. The min, or not 100, sorry, 10. The minimum would be 0. And again, if we cross off to find the lower quartile, we have that. So if we made this number line, and we go from 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We have 0 as the minimum. Circle those guys. We'll circle all the numbers we need to plot. 2 is the lower quartile. 7 is the median. 10 is the upper quartile. 10 is also the max. So when I draw my box is going to look like this with one whisker. And there we go. Of course, we want to make sure we label these numbers above. So we're all set. All right, here, that's it.